Okay, you guys, so today I decided to do something a little bit different. Gonna record myself while I go thrifting, take you guys along with me. My first stop of the day was going to be this Savers store. I've had a lot of success here lately, so I wanted to make sure I was here right at 10 o'clock when they opened. And I grabbed a cart right off the bat just because if I'm going to find something good, just want to keep moving, look it up later. My first stop is video games. Nothing really stood out to me, so I kept on going, headed to the back of the store where I tend to do pretty well. That's where they keep the electronics here in this Savers. Got to follow those arrows. You can see though right away the shelves are pretty blank. I believe I was noticing at this point that some of these things were here last week, hadn't even moved. And then what catches my eye over here? Oh yes, nice little handheld video camera. This is a little Canon. Uh, I'm not even going to look this one up. This one's going in the cart. I'm probably just going to buy it. They were $6.99 each. These other two weren't looking quite as good, but not too bad. So I at least put them in the cart for now so I can look them up later. Didn't want somebody else having the chance to pick them up. Took a look down here at the bottom shelf and I saw this phone. Last week I had bought some that looked pretty good, but this one was filled with zippers. Saw some interesting cables up here. There was an Xbox 360 AV cable, not really any value there. There was this charger, looked like it might have gone to one of the video cameras I just grabbed. So I was like, I'm just going to put that in the cart and see if it does match one of them. And saw a couple of this other little interesting cable, this thing here. It looked like it may have been an old AV cable, like for a coax adapter for either a video camera or for a video game system. But that was it on my first pass of the electronics. My next stop in this Savers is always the toy section. They tend to have some pretty good stuff up on the shelves first thing. There's been a ton of these rescue heroes lately. Um, that bag there I was looking at looked like it had a bunch of interesting stuff in it. Sometimes I'll buy those little grab bags and go through them each item at a time. Probably that just ends up leading to some hoarding of toys, though. End up having just a big box full of miscellaneous stuff. But it's always fun just go bag by bag, see if there's anything interesting to find. There were some wrestlers in here today, a little bit of Disney Infinity. You'll see that in a second. Some more dinosaurs. I had bought some dinosaurs a few weeks ago. So just looking through, seeing if anything stands out to me. Mostly not. Mostly it's just a bunch of normal stuff from the toy section, which is good. I'm glad to see that there's stuff on the shelves. There you can see the Infinity, and then one of these caught my eye back here. There's actually a couple Incredibles figures in there, including Violet, who is the rare figure from that set. By herself, she's worth about $12. So for $5, getting I think it was 6 or 7 Infinity figures, plus Violet, who's rare, definitely gonna pick that up. Gonna be able to complete my Incredible set. So I'll put that up on eBay probably this week for $25. So not a bad little pickup there. Lots and lots of cars. Really, what I'm looking for in the car section, I tend to look for planes actually from the movie Planes. Those tend to do pretty well for me. I don't find them very often, but they can sell anywhere from like $7 to $10 in that range at the bottom, all the way up to like $30, $40 depending. Um, don't find them very often, like I said though. So next section here is all the board games and puzzles. You can see that they're not packed in here very tightly at all right now. There's just not a lot of inventory. Still pretty empty, probably from the holidays. They'll begin to fill up with a bunch of filler stuff, and occasionally I'll find something good there. You can see right there, there's an Imaginext dragon. He was a little bit beat up, otherwise I may have picked him up. They'll sell anywhere from $10 to $20 depending on the time of year. Otherwise, toy shelves basically just filled up with cars and trucks and stuff that didn't. Nothing stuck out to me as having any kind of value, so I left it until I came across this Star Wars Lego set, Rey. I did end up looking her up. I'll show you the comps here in a little bit before I left the store, but for now I was like, I'm just going to put this in the cart, keep moving. That's always my first pass advice is just put stuff in your cart and then just keep moving. There were some connects up there that looked pretty interesting. Sometimes some of those connect sets can do well. I do tend to look at the purses there as I walk by them, but I didn't see anything that looked too interesting. So now we're at the cases up at the front of the store. They tend to put what they think is valuable in there. There was a bunch of like commemorative coins in there, but not anything that really stood out to me at first glance. You can see there's even a tearaway video game there for the PlayStation 4. The price was terrible. It's only worth about $10, so I wasn't really interested in that. A couple like e-readers in there, and then you can see back behind there, they had a few more things. There's a guitar and a keyboard, a Sega Genesis. Like it's a newer clone kind of system that they had made, with has some built-in games, but will also play the older style games. So it's kind of cool. I've actually got one, so I wasn't really looking. They're not worth a ton. Then I stopped quickly to have some nostalgia, looking at the old 1990s Donruss sports cards, baseball cards. I used to collect the heck out of those. All right, so now starting my second pass of the store. Always go back and just take a look, make sure there wasn't something I missed. And today, actually, there was something that I missed in here. I noticed these Connect games, which are usually something you can just look over and skip over them, but a couple of them have a little bit of value. The first one on top there, you can see Star Wars Connect, and then the second one under that was actually Connect Rush, and that's a Toy Story Disney Pixar game. Those were the two that actually had a good amount, a little bit of value. Um, oh, the third game was the Connect Sports Season 1 and 2 collection, which again, that one also has a little bit of value. So all three of them together, like great to pick up. The fourth one I was buying just because I was looking for some more games to fill in my Connect bundle that I'm looking to list here in the next week or so. But I was very interested to find them, even if they weren't worth a ton. Get a couple of games in there. Oh, look at this hamster guy. He's pretty funny. I thought he was interesting enough for $5 that I put him in the cart and then looked him up at the end of my trip here. Lots of home goods. I don't tend to find a lot in this section. Mostly I'm just scanning, seeing if anything catches my eye. What I really want to do is get to this wall over here. This is where they've moved all the bagged electronics to. I did spend a good amount of time here going through these. I'm going to speed up the play here a little bit though, just because I spent a ton of time making sure looking for any electronic devices that may have some value. Old phones. There's an old Nokia. Good nostalgia there. Looking for video game controllers. Looking for calculators. Right. Looking for maybe a camera. Some digital cameras can still have a little bit of value to them if you find the right one. And I did end up finding one item in here that I put in my cart. Um, let's see, where is it? It's coming up. Oh, it's just what we all need. Something to convert an audio signal to a tape deck in your car. Wow, I really did spend quite a bit of time at this store looking at all of the different stuff. Oh, I love remote controls, so I looked at that. There it is, multimeter. I have done pretty well with some of the brands of multimeters, so I picked it up, put it in the cart, again, looked it up at the end of my trip, and then I went back to going through this thing, just looking and looking and looking, trying to find something. Uh, Nothing though, just a bunch of wires today. My next part is to go through the hard goods. I'm go up and down every aisle, try and see what catches my eye, look up maybe a couple items if it's interesting. Not a ton today in the hard goods, so mostly just did the snake pass through here, um, looking for the older style trapper keepers here, looking for um, maybe Lisa Frank stuff could be in here. I'm looking at the alarm clocks, right? I'm looking for those elusive flip things like you might see at the beginning of Groundhog Day. That's the one that flips over, and those have a little bit of value depending on the model. On this aisle, I'm going to be looking for shoe shine boxes. I'm going to be looking for in-out boxes for someone's desk. Personally, I've been looking for um, little cabinets to keep toys in that you can mount up on the shelf. Like I'm always looking for another one for that. I'm constantly finding little toys that I really like. Trying to keep my toy collection small, but so it has to fit into one of those little cabinets. Otherwise, I'm gonna not pick it up probably anymore. I don't spend a ton of time looking at the pictures up on the walls, but then I do make sure and look at all the mugs. I might pick up some Starbucks mugs, and I've been looking for that the coffee place, the Death Coffee or something like that. Those mugs have skyrocketed in value. Haven't found one yet, but I'm confident that at some point I will find one. I don't know. I'd say I'd find a Starbucks mugs maybe like every other week, something like that. They're very easy to find because you can just look, right, and especially in the store, you can just look right from one side here, and if it's got a color in it, that's going to give you your first clue, and then you can check out the front. If it's a white mug, it's probably not going to be a Starbucks mug. Oh, getting close to one of my favorite places in the store where the Nordic ware is. I love to get to this section. Unfortunately, not a lot in this section today. You can see they actually have done a good job of like making sure you can go through all of it. It actually helps me go through really quickly. So Nordic ware stands out. It's a little bit thicker. Usually it's in the shape of something interesting, right? So you'd be able to know to pick that up. On this row, I'm also going to be looking for mixing bowls for a not a Cuisinart, the nice stand mixers, right? You were looking for those bowls. Oh, and these ladies blocked me in, of course, and I'm like clearly trying to get out. If you can find those, they can sell anywhere $20 to $30 by themselves. This next section, I'm looking at the kitchen gadgets, really looking for Villaware or any other interesting looking kitchen gadgets. You can see there's just a bunch of crock pots today and a couple toaster ovens, so nothing really too exciting. I'm going to do one more pass over the electronics, but I'm going to stop in the book section first. In here, I'm going to be looking for older Stephen King hardcover books, looking for Harry Potter hardcover books. Um, if you can find James Patterson and some of the other authors they're really popular, if you can find them cheap, then it might be worth picking up. Otherwise, I'd probably skip it. They're going to want probably $3 to $4 per book in the store. And you want to get it down to 25 cents, 50 cents, maybe $1 at the most. Harry Potter, I may still pick up at the $3 to $4 range just because they're still worth about $7 each, maybe even a little bit more, depending. And I may pick it up just because I've got some that aren't quite in a set yet. And so if I can find it, even at $3 or $4, I'll buy it to make the set and be able to sell the entire set together. I tend to focus here in the so you can see there's Stephen King right there. It was a little bit too much for a paperback version of it. The Gunslinger series is usually a good one to pick up. I tend to stop in the sci-fi and fantasy. There's a Harry Potter book that I had found, just because I like to look at the books and see if there's anything even I might like to add to my own collection. So moving on, got two more aisles of books to go. Store you can see is starting to get a little bit busier. On my left is all romance books. On the right was some cookbooks and some self-help type books. And then here at the end is another section of like children's books. I tend to just do a quick look for Harry Potter and then just move on. Around the corner here, you're going to see some like really kids picture books. On the left, there's a ton of them, and on the right, you're going to find some like uh, niche type books. You might find some military books, something like that, and then some lamps down here at the end. I've bought a couple lamps from here over the years, depending on what it is. Like I found a Lion King one a while back that sold really well. And then I'm just going to take a quick look through the electronics here, really quick, to see if they brought out anything. Last week, I had talked about finding those phones here, so you can see the guys are putting out new stuff right now. Take a quick look at the sporting goods, but it's been pretty bare. And then take a look in some sections I hadn't really spent a lot of time in earlier, the bag section. Not a ton was really catching my eye. There was a camera case there. I thought maybe there'd be another camera in it. And then I saw this Targus bag here that looked like it was kind of interesting. It's not one of my brands that I'm really going to be looking up for, though. It was not a bad looking bag, though. If I was really desperate for some inventory, I might stop and take a look. And I'm going to take a quick gander at the shoes as I walk by, but you can see how many holes are on these shelves. Like these are picked over. I never really find anything too exciting here. The shoes in Connecticut tend to be really expensive. Here's another section of bags to look at. I have found some good stuff here in the past, but it's been a while since I found any good bags. They tend to just be gone as soon as they hit the shelves. So coming back to my second pass at the toy shelves, I'm not seeing anything that's new out since I came by the first time. Probably I'd have to take a little bit longer in the store and really just take my time, let them come out with some of the bins that they're going to do. today my goal was just get through the store, get some good stuff, and then get out of here and go hit a few other stores before it got too late in the day. We had an appointment, my wife and I, so we needed to get there. But I still wanted to be able to take my time in the store without like spending time waiting for new stuff to come out. So you can see here is basically all the same stuff that was here the first time I went around. I'm not seeing anything new. That Imaginext Dragon is still sitting there, and all of the cars. Nothing new has really come out. So all I'm going to do this, I'm feeling like I'm pretty much done in the store now. So I stopped my cart here and started going through everything. I wanted to look up that hamster guy. You can see he was sold once, so I put him back. And then here's that Lego set. I probably should have not bought that, but I did. Here I am at my second location. This one's a Goodwill this time. I didn't even grab a cart after I came into this one. I just was like, I just got to go and see. The shelves were super bare the last time I was here, and I was like, I'm not even going to waste my time getting a cart if the shelves are going to be bare again. So I was just like, let's do a quick pass. If I need to come back and get a cart, I will. Got to follow those arrows. And you guys can see right up here, you're starting to see, look how bare these shelves are. There's a few items in the glassware side, but as I come around the corner here, you're going to just see this, how empty the electronics section is. There's some monitors, there's a few printers. I tend to stay away from both of those. And then look at that, the shelves over there, there's just nothing on them. It's almost like Goodwill did a purge and just said, let's try and get new inventory. I thought this might be an Nespresso machine, which would be pretty nice. Might be a nice one, but it was a knockoff. Even on this side where there's just kind of some hard goods mixed in, it's just empty shelves. It was super disappointing. So my next stop's going to be the case. You never really know what you're going to find. I found some good stuff in this case a couple of different times, so made sure to spend a little bit of time looking. You can see there's a camera bag there. There's a camera sitting right behind it, so I made the assumption that the camera that was on the shelf was the one that was from in the bag. Otherwise, I probably would have had to wait a couple minutes to get someone's attention to come let me in, and I wasn't having it. I was just super disappointed that this Goodwill was so empty. I was really hoping to just be able to spend some time looking around. I mean, I had rushed out of that Savers earlier to make sure I had time in this Goodwill, and yeah, just got out of there. Even the bag shelf, look at this. It's just sad. Got to look for those Starbucks cups. Got to look for that Death Wish coffee. Still haven't found a Death Wish. Who knows if I ever will. Something's catching my eye right here. You might be able to see like a gold mixing bowl up there. There it is, KitchenAid mixing bowls. I told you guys earlier in this video to look for those, and here's one right here. It's brand new in the box. Oh, $30. How much is it selling for? Oh, look at that. Maybe in a good day, $40? Yeah, that's staying at Goodwill. Those white tags are usually Target clearance, so I'm not sure why a KitchenAid mixing bowl would go on Target clearance, but Goodwill gets it. I thought this was a pretty neat Nerf gun. A little bit of box damage. I didn't even bother with it. I was like, this probably is missing pieces or it's broken inside the box. I'm not, it's so huge, I don't want to ship this at all. Take a quick look through the toys here. I'm sure you can tell, like, I'm super frustrated. I'm walking fast and I'm just like unhappy that I'm just not finding anything. I love these Nerf guns. It's always fun to look at them, but I never buy them and I don't tend to flip them. I've sold a couple over the years, but generally it hasn't been worth my time. Look at the shoe shelf. Even that was empty. So I'll take a quick walk up here to the front and look at the books and the DVD section, which also sometimes has video games. But I'm telling you right now, I'm going to be out of this Goodwill within a couple of minutes, empty-handed. It was just one of those days, right? You got to take the good with the bad. I did find some good stuff at that Savers, so really happy to do that. And the name of this game is, if you don't find anything, you just go on to the next store. The good thing with a lot of these places is they're constantly putting out new merchandise. Um, I would say Savers more than Goodwill, but you never really know. I've been to Goodwills in the afternoon thinking it's going to be picked over and come out of there with a cart full of stuff that was really great. So you really just never know when they're going to get around to putting new stuff out on the shelves and when you're going to be able to go and buy and find it. This is still like my favorite spot in this Goodwill, just because I found some video games here a couple of months ago that were just incredible, and they wanted like $2 each for them. So I keep hoping that I'll find some more here when I come by here, but so far I haven't. I think once I can figure out getting ungated for Amazon to be able to send in DVDs, that this section will become more interesting to me. I'll be looking for some things I can put up to Amazon FBA. FBA is fulfilled by Amazon. I thought that bag was Coach, but it was so fake. It was a good laugh. Got to take a look at those CDs, make sure there's no PlayStation 1 games there, or God forbid, TurboGrafx 16. That would be, I've never found anything TurboGrafx, so that would be incredible to find. Just in this pawn shop, picked up Connect Adventures for my Connect bundle I'm putting together, and then without even looking it up, picked up this Ghostbusters Monopoly for $5. Just seemed pretty cool, so I took a chance on it. $7.44. All right. Fourth and final stop of the day, another Goodwill. This one, I've been going to this one for years and years and years, ever since it first opened. They've got a similar problem with their DVDs as they used to have with VHS. They just have so many that it's hard to see what's even in here. I think I noticed there was maybe a video game up there, but it was just empty. And I just wasn't interested in digging at the moment. I was like, I just want to go and see some of the better spots in the store. And I figured I could come back later. You can see how many shelves of these things they have. It's just overwhelming right now. Like I said, when I was at the last Goodwill, I'll probably be more interested in this when I'm doing FBA in the future, and I'll be able to look for some DVDs to send them. But at the moment, I'm like, I want to go see the toys. I want to go see the electronics sections. So I hustled back to the toy section, and not you can see there's some stuff up on the shelves, but nothing was catching my eye. I turned around here, and then this Star Trek Scene It game. I originally was like, oh, that's kind of interesting, but I wanted to see like, is there anything else I should be grabbing? There was another couple on the other side who were doing the same thing as me and looking up stuff. So I picked up this Star Trek Scene It game. I had never seen it before. Ha. And Simpsons Jeopardy, I thought maybe it was the Simpsons Monopoly game. And then you can see here's a villainous game, the Marvel Villainous, which my wife was actually a little bit mad at me for not buying just for our own collection of games. But we've got a couple of the other villainous games, so I was like, I'm not too interested. It was open, even though they wanted brand new prices for it. They wanted $17 for it. So I grabbed that Star Trek Scene It game, headed over here to the electronics, and you can see this is a definite picker's Goodwill. There's just a ton of people around looking at stuff. And these shelves are actually a little bit more full. But it also looks like, even looking at it on video right here, there's just a bunch of junk up on there. Not seeing anything worth looking up, putting in my cart, nothing. So I have that Scene It game under my arm. I passed by these cases here really quickly, but I'm like, I can't really stop and do too much with it in my hand. So instead, I'm gonna take a pause, go grab a cart, come back, go through the cases. Made sure she was okay with me walking out the door with that Scene It game. Don't want to get banned from Goodwill. And then I headed back, and as you probably saw as I walked by this case, that there was a ton of green, which usually means Xbox or Xbox 360, maybe Xbox One video games. So I was like, all right, I'll take a quick stop here. Let's see if there's anything good. There's a bunch of Wii games, um, but you can see right away the U-Draw Studio, some Gears of War. I see old Madden games. There's some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the front here. Another Kinect game. You guys know I love those Just Dance games too. I've done very well with a couple of those. Wii Fit. Oh my goodness, it's about what you normally find with video games at Goodwill, to be honest. There's some PlayStation 3 games back there. Nothing exciting. It was fun to look through. I mean, yeah, Wolfenstein 2 for the computer, brand new, but they wanted, of course, a ton of money for it. Anytime it's brand new like that, it's got the white sticker again, it's Target clearance. So they're going to want top dollar for that. So feeling frustrated, but not giving up. Taking a look in the other case here. I'm a big Disney fan, so I liked seeing the Mickey stuff down there, but I wasn't really interested in it either. There was also an Xbox 360 Infinity set in there that was open, which of course then it's going to be missing pieces probably. And honestly, the star sets don't have a lot of value. So I headed back over here to the toys. Figured I would look up that Scene It game, see if I missed anything. I thought I saw a really neat Lego book, but of course the minifigure is missing. I don't think I've ever found one of those books where the minifigure was in it. So let's see. I picked up the Jeopardy, figured I would take a look. Yeah, it's a little bit of value, but and same thing with the Cena. There's a little bit of value, but just not the kind of margins I'm looking for. I've already got a ton of stuff that needs work. Thought I was neat to see the older style Family Feud game there. So I put them both back. At the moment, now I'm pushing an empty cart around the store, feeling very sorry for myself. The Disney Scenics, if you've got that and the second one and lot them up together, can bring a little bit of value. But honestly, the scene that you want is the Harry Potter DVD like complete collection. That's the one you really are going to be looking for, which it's tough. There's so many versions of it. You're probably just not going to find it very often. I saw something that looked like a Lego case, so I picked it up, but it was a picture frame. I love toys, so I sometimes spend way too much time just looking at these toy shelves to see what's on them. And more often than not, I'll end up going home with something for myself. And oh, there's a Bop It. It's just one of the smaller ones, so it's not really something I was looking for. A Charmed doll. I didn't even look this one up. I was like, that style is not always very good. It's the newer style Mego dolls. So maybe I should pop one up in here. Let's see what it's worth. Okay, $10, $11 with free shipping. Looks like I made the right decision. I'll take a quick look at the bags. I know a little bit about purses. You can see there's a fake Louis Vuitton there. Take a quick look at the shoes, but I'm not a great knowledgeable person about shoes, that's for sure. I'm going to take a quick look back here at the bags as well. They put theirs at the back of the store. Uh, there's a couple interesting ones today, actually. I found mostly, honestly, tennis bags back here. Tennis racket bags have been the biggest thing in this Goodwill over the years. I'm not sure why this location has that. This Speedo bag looks kind of interesting. I'm going to come back to that in a second. This Columbia bag looked interesting. I found a tag inside of it, so I figured I would look that up. I know I'm getting desperate to find things when I start looking up items that I know don't have a ton of value, just trying to make the day a success, trying to find that one more item to add to my pile to say that I've been had a successful day out thrifting. There's a nicer internal frame backpack down there. I'm not really huge into buying those. They're big and bulky and hard to ship, so I tend not to do anything with those. But I did look, there's the thing I did grab. I put this in the cart immediately thinking I had scored. Leather JanSport backpack. I'm sure if any of you with a keen eye will notice that this is not vintage, right? This is a newer JanSport backpack. But again, and $8, they had a red tag on it. I was very happy. I was like, all right, JanSport for $8. I can probably sell it for $20 to $30. But I was so excited to find it, I didn't realize it was one of it was one of the newer ones, right? They did a big reissue of these things a year or two ago, I want to say, and maybe they even still sell them. Um, and there's a lacrosse bag there. I don't know anything about those. I'll have to look into that at some point. And then this Columbia bag. I think I told you I was going to look it up. And then JanSport bag. I was happy. I didn't even look it up yet. I'll have to come back and put it back at some point. All right, a little bit bigger toy section. Those Nerf guns there can do well, but again, it's a huge gun, so you've got to be able to ship it out. You might do well if you ship it out locally, actually. All right, so getting close to the end. Oh, that was an interesting big play set again, pretty big. Found some crochet stuff there. Big lots of that stuff can do well if it's brand new. I didn't even think to look it up at the time or to look closer into there. I wanted to get back over here and go through the electronics again, see if there was something I had missed. Looking intently at all of the junk up on the shelves. Some Christmas lights, just a lot of nothing here. You can see there's like a receiver maybe, or maybe it's a CD player there. Can't even tell in the middle, but that's even outside of the size of items that even I'd be wanting to look at usually. I don't mind sending out DVD, VHS players, but those receivers are just that much heavier. There's a bunch of printers at this one too, and then look, just a bunch of junk. Let's see. Gonna take a look at the hard goods, even the glass shelves here. You can see that there's some big gaps on this part of the store. It's one of those niche areas. I see a lot of other YouTubers who are looking around Goodwills who do buy toys and electronics like I do, and all of us are clueless in this section. We all skip over all of these items. I tend to look just because if something does catch my eye, I'll look it up. But most of the time, I don't find anything. Squirrel. People going the wrong way down aisles. I'm sure you guys are having the same issues where you are. This part of the shelves here, it tends to be more hard goods. I've found all sorts of interesting things in these areas in the past. Not a ton of stuff there at the moment. There was a Marvel logo on that, so I took a look to see what it was. It was kind of a cheapy game of some kind. I didn't even know what it was. That had something to do with hanging folders. So you can see, right, like nothing that's just going to be like, wow, that actually has some value potentially. Everything's just very uh, bottom of the tree value type stuff, which, there's going to be those days. Some days I come out of here with a full cart. Some days I come out of here with just nothing. Something did catch my eye on the shelf here, though. There's a Star Wars water slide. I'd never heard of this. I'd never seen it. Decided to look it up, but you can imagine how good it was. I think it was maybe $5 to $10, something like that. You guys, I'm sure, can look that one up. Just not that interesting. Getting pretty close to the end here. I I think I did do one more thing where I looked up that JanSport and then put it back. Like I had mentioned, it was an older version, so just not a lot of value. If you enjoyed this, please be sure to give me a like. If you enjoyed this content, please subscribe, and thank you very much.